Why can't we do that?
Well, let's go to Kathy. Kathy, why can't we do that? That sounds pretty reasonable.
I think there's a difference between 50% of time and equal shared parenting, because sometimes for practical reasons it's not possible to split a child in half, especially when distance is involved. But the concept of equal parenting from the beginning on breakdown of a relationship is a good idea in most cases, and there'll always be the exceptional cases.
But most men, it seems, aren't getting even to see them for a long time, till you've gone to court, and there's big gaps of time when they don't get to see them. That can't be right, can it?
No, it can't be right at all. And some of the problems that were mentioned earlier about allegations that are made, what should happen, but unfortunately in a lot of cases doesn't. You should have a fact-finding hearing within 2 weeks or 3 weeks of the allegations being made. Hardly ever. There's a lot of delay caused by clogged up court processes. And then, of course, problems arise which result in adjournment after adjournment, by which time there's a big gap of time with no contact.
So, in fact, if you had a not very nice woman or a very upset or aggrieved woman, she could actually work the system.
Yes, exactly.
And you could end up not seeing them for years. Is that true?
Yeah, there will always be genuine cases, but I would be very surprised if a lot of them weren't malicious.
Okay. Douglas, I want to go over to you. Do you think the courts are inclined to favour women when it comes to custody?
I think undoubtedly, but with one small exception.
That's so much to explain. We're not revealing our identity for the sake of your children. Yep, sorry,
one small exception, as the results tend to be winner takes all. And if it so happens that the father gets in charge, he can treat the mother in much the same way as most mothers treat fathers. The question ought to be not father's rights or mother's rights, it should be the children's rights to both. Yes. And that should be the focus. There's one other thing that hasn't been put in here, is all these delays, the contact that the child doesn't have should be regarded as a debt that is built up over the years. When it's finally resolved, they sort of said, yes, that child is owed an enormous amount of backlog of time.
What happened with you, Douglas?
Well, I was the principal carer of my children, and as the mother was able to take more and more care, she wanted to knock me back.
How old were your children?
They were 4 at the time the incident happened, and up to a certain point I was very happy with that. I believed in shared parenting. I think we should both be making a major contribution. At the point at which I started getting scared that the end of this process would not be shared parenting but my exclusion, I went to court, and suddenly things got a lot better, and we started negotiating very, very well. And there was
outside of court, you started?
Outside the court, with the aid of Relate, who helped us broker an agreement. It was about to be signed, and the children went to a holiday to their country my mother's country of origin. And the time that they were due to come back, almost to the minute, there was a phone call. I've organised a new life. We're never coming home. And to cut a long story short, I lost the custody dispute because it was alleged that I didn't have sufficient material to damage the parenting of the mother for a father to get custody. Many years later, when I go and see them in their mother's house in this foreign country abroad, she now moves out so I can stay with the children in her house.
We need more of that,
so
don't we?
Hold on there, to fathers. The situation at the beginning was appalling.
Okay, Douglas, I've got to stop you there because I've got to move on. But thank you very much. A bit of positive there. Naomi, should mums be able to just take the children out of the country?
I think it depends on the case, really.
Do you think you ever should be allowed to?
Well, in my case, I have a little boy of 4, and since he's been born, his dad's been in and out of his life all the time. I mean, he'll go away for months on end, then come back, be banging on the door to see him. I mean, Corey won't know who he is. Just all the time, it'll just be messing him up. He'll be sat there with his wellies on, waiting for him to come round. He won't turn up. Nothing. And if I got the opportunity to work abroad in the job what I wanted, I wouldn't think twice about going over there because of the way he treated Corey.